Obviously, during the retreat, we revisit our mission and our vision. Where are we headed as an organization? And then from there, we identify what are our key, uh, what do we call them? Like our areas of priority, our strategic priorities.
Mhm.
And those are identified here on this sheet. We've made some tweaks to these, but fiscal sustainability is still there, employees and infrastructure, economic development. We've got a housing element now that we've added. So we've defined as an organization that if we're going to achieve our ultimate vision for our community and where we're headed, these are kind of the big bucket areas that we need to be focused on right now.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can click over to the plan. We spend time talking about each of these areas, and so we talk about, okay, when it comes to being more fiscally sustainable, what are the projects, what are the initiatives we need to take on in the next 12 to 36 months. And so those are then worked on as a group. We have some agreement, we put them in the plan.
Yeah.
But then under each of those, we expand down as we get done with the retreat. Then I work individually with the department directors to say, okay, finance, we need to improve our financial planning. What does that mean? Where can we find improvements? And then working with finance, we come up with certain tasks and subtasks that we agree will help us achieve that initiative of improving our financial planning. So really at the retreat level, we're at that project kind of level of what we want to improve, what we want to decrease, what we want to increase, right? So then most of the work then becomes mine and the department heads and our staff to build out those lower layers. And then once it's built out, then we bring this back to the elected officials for their review to say, hey, you've helped us come up with the vision, our priorities, and these initiatives. Staff has now built out what we think will be the tasks and subtasks to get us there.
And so when you're developing the work plans or the project plans, is that a one-on-one process, or you bring all the department kind of heads or key staff in to kind of do that simultaneously?
No, it's one-on-one. The way I do it is I first off, as you can see, you can assign within the city strategy tool. I'll go through and typically assign which department I think that particular project would fall under. It's pretty natural for the most part, but sometimes once in a while you come across one and you're like, I don't know, let's give it to department so and so or such and such. And then they can go in and under their login, that particular department director can pull up just those things that have been assigned to that department.
Yeah.
And so then what I usually do is I will task them to start building out the rest of the plan. I don't even spend that time with them at that point. I just say, hey, finance, go and start building that out, and then let's meet. And so I'm giving them the ability to spend some time in working on that. And then it's a matter of me sitting down with finance, reviewing what they've come up with, providing my input, making some tweaks, also prioritizing, right? Within the plan, it's easy to drag and drop and make, if you want to do it top down as the priority, or utilizing the icons to prioritize thanks. You could show what's our focus, what's medium or what's low. That's a good way to have clarity around what the expectations are.
How often do you check back with the departments on their progress, and how often does the council review the progress of these key initiatives and projects?
So I have biweekly meetings with each department director, and so it's just a natural time for me to say, great, let's pull up the strategy. Let's take a look at where you're at. What help do you need from me? What things are you working on? Are you on task? Are you on schedule? So it just becomes a real natural management tool. And then we can talk about any other items, right, the department head has, or what he or she needs from me. The elected officials also have a login. So at any time, right, they could drop in and take a look at the plan. It's a viewer only access, at least quarterly, if not more frequently, depending on the need. I will just simply export a copy of this to a PDF or Word or Excel, and then create a PDF and just put it in my council packet. And we'll just do an update during a work session. That's an opportunity for staff to seek some clarification from the elected officials on anything that might need some clarity.
But one thing I'll also point out is a lot of the organizations we work with do a lot of grant management as well. And so, these, as you said, they're initiatives, they're projects, but we can also use the system to designate something as a grant. And then you have a whole level of grant detail that can be updated so that, typically you have to have your finance, your grant management, um, the grant manager and maybe a contracts office provide some oversight. And this just allows them to, set up the reminder schedule for reporting, make sure the costs are outlined so that the grant itself is in compliance. It's kind of getting at the tactical level, but again, many organizations we work with are very grant driven, and the management of that grant, in alignment with their strategy, is a major component for how they're operating. So anyway, any other again, really a great example of a strategic organization. Again, how you do the planning, how you gather data, and then how you translate that data into an actionable plan, and then make it really a living, breathing process. I've always been very impressed with how you're operating. But any other concepts or any kind of feedback on the impact of this system on kind of the effectiveness of South Ogden City?
I just think the accountability of utilizing city strategy in this way, accountability, man, when my name is on there and I'm assigned as the owner of a particular project or initiative, and I know that the organization is going to be regularly reviewing this, looking for updates. We didn't point out the progress percentages over there, where it's a quick way to see, where are we on a particular project. And so, I mean, when you're talking about, because I agree, I think a lot of organizations that do strategic planning, most of them probably struggle with the implementation part.
Yeah.
Right? They may do a good job of identifying what they need to do, but how do we track it? How do we hold ourselves accountable? How do we keep it in front of us? Because we still have all the day-to-day stuff, right, that we have to process. That doesn't go away, unfortunately. And so I think what I've seen in value of utilizing this tool has been there's really no way to hide, right? I mean, we're holding ourselves accountable because we see this, and the community knows it. It's a communication tool, right? It's a prioritization tool. It's an accountability tool.
One thing I think, again, you really illustrated well is you need good tools. We think this is a good tool, but it's all about leadership. It's about the discipline of staying the course, getting the right people together, having the conversations. I really like how you've covered a lot of critical areas. And the thing about it is this can be replicated across any type of organization. Just good planning, good communication, good accountability. Again, the tools have a role, but it's no substitute for the type of leadership needed to ensure these things actually happen.